Hello, friends, and welcome into Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. I am Tom Downey here again with all the latest on your Pittsburgh Steelers, and we've got even more good TJ Watt news. The latest on Watt is that he's going to avoid surgery, as had been hoped, planned, expected on his torn pectoral, and the timeline they're looking at right now is roughly 6 weeks. Now, maybe plus or minus from that standpoint, but 6 weeks of rehab appears to be the timeline with no surgery needed, and then TJ Watt can return. Now, 6 weeks, I would still anticipate an IR stint. TJ Watt himself says he'll be back, and whether it's 6 weeks or maybe even closer to 8 weeks in the full 2 months, this is great news for Pittsburgh. Having TJ Watt back for the home stretch, at minimum, I think is massive for this team. Here's their schedule. In the 8-week time frame that I mentioned, he might be back before that 8-week time frame. So week 2 against the Patriots, he's not going to play. Week 3 at the Browns, no. Week 4 against the Jets, no. Week 5 at the Bills, and then against the Bucs in week 6, 2 brutal games, by the way. It's a pretty tough schedule, but you can get to 3 or 4 wins is not outlandish if you beat the Patriots and Browns and Jets. 3 teams I think you can beat. Worst case, you should be around 500. Then you're starting to enter the window of a return for TJ Watt, right? Week 7 at the Miami Dolphins. Week 8 at the Eagles. That would put you at the 7-week time frame. Now, week 9 is at 8 weeks, and that's your bye. So if he doesn't play week 8, then you just keep him on ice until the bye week, and then you bring him back. So you have some flexibility there for TJ with where that bye stands. But it sounds like he'll be back before week 10, or by week 10, if that's the 8-week timeline. 6 weeks could be back before the bye, which would be big time for Pittsburgh. We have Steelers videos pretty much every single day here at Chat Sports, so don't miss out on any of them. Hit that big red button and subscribe. Free Steelers videos right here at Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. The not season-ending injury for TJ Watt is huge. Now, he's probably not going to repeat as Defensive Player of the Year thanks to, missing, let's just say, 6 games, right? He's not going to get to 22.5 sacks again, I would assume. But his return is massive for this team and for this organization whenever that ends up occurring. Of that, I think we are all in agreement on. The good news is Alex Highsmith was awesome in week 1 against the Bengals. He made Jonah Williams into his you-know-what. Malik Reed is good depth. We'll see if Jones can make an impact for you as well. But there are at least options now for Pittsburgh. The emergence of Highsmith is a big deal, but the good news is TJ Watt is not going to miss that much time. So prediction time. What week will TJ Watt end up returning to this organization? Is it week 7? Is it week 8? Is it week 10, the bye? Or week 9, then week 10 after the bye? This is the pinned comment on today's video, which you should know the drill if you've been subscribed for a while. If the ad break comes here on YouTube, it's fine. Ignore it. Let it play. Head down there and at the pinned comment and let me know what week you think TJ Watt returns to action. Let's break down now some moves made by Pittsburgh on the practice squad. One time through, then more in depth on the 2 signings. Ryan Anderson, the former Bama product, has been added as an edge rushing option. Timing, not an accident there. Also signed was tight end Rodney Williams, a UDFA this year. To make room for those 2 guys in your practice squad, Justin Rigg, the tight end, has been cut. That's a 1-to-1 for Rodney Williams there. And then also released is Jaquarii Roberson, the UDFA, who signed with the Cowboys this year. Rodney, of course, signed with the Bengals initially this season. So it's Rigg and Williams swap spots. Anderson comes in for Roberson because of your need at edge rusher. Let's break down the 2 additions. Rodney Williams, I don't have that much for you guys, even though I might have known who some other players were they signed this offseason, like Doug Costin and Rondell Carter. I don't got much for you on Williams. A UDFA this year out of Tennessee Martin, kind of that hybrid size almost, 6'4", 235, kind of the move back size at least. We'll see if he can contribute at all in Pittsburgh. The notable one here is Rodney Anderson, the edge rusher who played at Alabama, Ryan Anderson offers some almost he's a great fit as a 3-4. You can drop him into coverage if you need to. He can rush the passer. He's played a decent amount predominantly with the Washington, now Commanders. Of course, they were not the Commanders back when he played for them. But he had 7 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, and 86 tackles in 4 years there. But he never quite latched on as in every down player from that standpoint. 86 tackles, 7 TFLs, 6 sacks. He is extra depth in light of the TJ Watt injury, which I think certainly makes plenty of sense. Today's show is made possible by BetUS. Get a 125% deposit bonus when you head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code Steelers125 when you put on at least $100, and they will match your deposit 125% worth. So $100 in, $125 for free. It is a fantastic deal. You are playing with house money. My Steelers to cover bet one, although I did not put money on them last week, which I should have. And now Pittsburgh once again is an underdog against the Patriots. The Patriots are a 1-point favorite this week despite Mac Jones's back spasms and, quite frankly, looking pretty darn bad on offense because apparently letting Matt Patricia call your plays was a thing that Bill Belichick thought he should do. I kind of like Pittsburgh this week. Stay hot. It's Mike Tomlin. He's a great coach. You can bet on them at BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code is Steelers125. All right, we haven't talked about it yet, but there was a bit of a noteworthy report Sunday morning from Jay Glazer. Why the big media types keep dropping big information on Sunday, I don't really know. There's a lot of stuff going on with actual games, like put that out on Thursday, guys. Jay Glazer says, we'll break down his full quote, the Steelers plan on starting Trubisky all year. Here's what Glazer said on Fox Sports. Quote, according to Mike Tomlin, this has always been Mitch Trubisky's team. I know a lot of fans said Kenny Pickett has started playing well in the preseason. Maybe he has a chance. That has not been the plan there in Pittsburgh. I talked to Mike again this morning, and he said this is Mitch Trubisky's team. His plan is to sit Kenny Pickett all season long. Just let him sit and learn in his rookie season. Now, we will see if that actually comes to fruition, because I think there are some scenarios where kind of want to put Kenny Pickett out there, but this team does want to make it Trubisky's team. That's the outcome, as we'll get into. But first, a question for you. Will Kenny Pickett start a game this year? Type in Y for yes, or type in N for no. Sound off for me in the comments section. I vote yes. I still think at some point this year you will see Kenny Pickett as a starter. And I think Mike Tomlin's mindset, at least, is the right one. You want your veteran quarterback you signed to not let go of the job. You want him to play so well, you don't need to hand things over to Kenny Pickett. It's just like the Alex Smith situation with Mahomes. Obviously, 2 different quarterbacks are in Pittsburgh right now, but Alex Smith played well. They did not give the reins to Mahomes until late in the year. Now, I think Pickett and Mahomes have different strengths and weaknesses, but I actually would like it if Pickett plays some a little bit this year. Ideally, it comes in a big blowout, which doesn't give you very many reps because you're winning that blowout, by the way. But I also think this. There's a very likely outcome, even though reps are a good thing, that the Steelers, when you get to Week 18, might not be in the playoffs. And if that is the case, start him. Start Kenny Pickett. At that point, you're not as worried about Trubisky. You want to see what Pickett can do. Through 1 week, look, you got the win. Trubisky did finally make a big play for you late in overtime, a couple plays really, after a pretty mediocre showing. I have doubts about Matt Canada and a normal drop-back passing offense. So much of what he does is misdirection, deception, etc. So I'm fine continuing to start Trubisky. The schedule's easy on. You can maybe win some games, and it gets a little bit tougher. I do think at some point, though, the Steelers start Kenny Pickett. I would prefer it if they don't ever have to, because Trubisky plays so well this year. But at some point, I do think we'll see him. That is it for today's show. Reminder, if you haven't already, please hit that big red button and subscribe. It's youtube.com/SteelersTV.